Welcome, beautiful people, to my channel. It's your girl, Positive Vibez Des, better known as Des Plus, or just Destiny. And I'm so happy that you joined me for another Motivational Mondays. And today I wanted to come to you talking to you about this tricky thing called motivation. Being that we're on the topic of Motivational Mondays, I wanted to talk about that a bit, right? Because in life, we tend to get unmotivated, right? We all experience times where we're super motivated, we're super energized, we're super ready to go, and other times we're just not feeling it, we're not into it, and we don't feel motivated at all. I'm here to tell you that every so often feeling a lack of motivation is normal. It's part of the trials and tribulations of life, and we're not always gonna be feeling it. Some days we are gonna be in the slumps. But I did want to mention that if you are feeling a lack of motivation, feeling hopelessness and down often, and you're experiencing all these things at once consistently, I would suggest that you seek a little bit more support with, just to flesh out and see if there could be something else going on more than just a lack of motivation. Now, with that being said, I wanted us to talk about what some of the things are that keep us unmotivated. There are so many things that causes us not to really feel in the mood or feel to be bothered with doing the things that we need to do or that we should be doing. Like, a lot of the times we are experiencing feelings of overwhelmness. We have so many different things on our plate. We are doing things that we're really not that interested in, but we're just doing them because we have to. There could be feelings of being burned out, or there's so many different expectations that you either have on yourself, that society, that you try to live up to for society, or that people around you have these expectations of you. And by no means is that an exhaustive list. I just named a few things, but there are so many different things out there that can cause us to feel unmotivated, right? So then it's like, okay, I'm feeling unmotivated, I don't feel like doing anything. What am I supposed to do? And I think that's kind of, like I said, where we all get at some points, where we know we have to go get our car fixed, but we don't feel like it. We know that we have to, organize our space and place. We don't feel like it. We have to do all these different things, and it's just like, where's the motivation to do that, right? And I want to be very clear that motivation and productivity are similar. Motivation drives productivity, and it's about, okay, well, how do I find the motivation so that I can be productive to do the things that I need to do? I wanted to share with you guys some tips in which you could or should be using to help you gain or regain that motivation. I think the first step is thinking about how you can take a moment, right? Because you're not feeling motivated for a reason, right? There's something happening externally or internally that you need to take a moment to realize, recognize, and acknowledge. So when you're feeling those moments of being unmotivated, taking a moment to just sit with those feelings. A lot of the times, we as people, we don't like to sit with uncomfortable feelings. We don't like to acknowledge some of the uncomfortable feelings, especially with motivation. You have to get things done, and you beating yourself up in your mind saying like, why can't I get this done? Why can't I do these things? But it's like just sitting with it, like taking a moment to be still, and gives you a moment to take a beat, to take a pause, to slow it down. As I mentioned, a lot of times we're overwhelmed, overworked, and so many different things are happening, and you may just need that moment to woosah and collect yourself. And by no means am I saying to stay in this space and place of not feeling motivated or unproductive. What I am saying is to sit with those feelings momentarily, recognize them, acknowledge them for what they are. I'm going to work to move past it, move through it. But I needed this moment in order to reset, refresh, and regroup so that I can get back to it. I think what takes us to the next step in getting motivated is to first checking in with yourself examining, doing some self-reflection. Self-reflection leads then to self-motivation. Self-reflecting on why am I feeling unmotivated? What's the root cause? Something's happening, something's going on. What is it? Once we've taken time to think about that, then moving on to thinking about what needs to change or what needs to be different in order for me to get the results or get to doing the things that I need to do. I think once you've taken the time to think about those two things, it can get you in a space and place where you're like, okay, I know what the problem is. I can come up with some things that need to happen to change it. And now let me put some steps in place so that I can get back to where I need to be, what I need to do, and how I need to do it. And I think that sometimes, especially when we're not motivated because we're procrastinating, I think that breaking things down into smaller pieces, whatever the task may be, whatever the thing is that you have to do, breaking it down into smaller pieces will truly help you to feel more accomplished. So let's use the example of cleaning up the garage, for example. If you don't have a garage, just go with it. But if you have to clean up the garage, there's so many different things. Breaking that down step by step. Okay, today or this weekend or whenever I have the time, I'm gonna start on this section of the garage, and then I'm gonna move on to this section, and this section. And by the time you look around, you realize, okay, man, I accomplished that. Okay, I did that section. Now I feel good. I can move on to the next section. And you kind of get that reward of seeing kind of like the fruits of your labor, right? And it will make you feel more motivated to get the rest of the cleaning done, right? The overarching goal is to get the garage clean, but breaking it down piece by piece or section by section or whatever your situation is that you're not feeling motivated about, breaking it down into smaller pieces can help to A, get you to see that, okay, I can accomplish this, and B, pushes you to continue to get to that main goal. The final thing that I wanted to add as far as tips that you can use to help you stay or get motivated is engaging in self-care. Now, I know you guys have all heard that term, that topic before, because self-care is heavily promoted, especially nowadays, because there's such an importance for self-care. Self-care looks different for so many people, but thinking about self-care in regards to motivation, what can I do for myself, or what do I need to do for myself to get myself motivated, to get myself going? And this goes back to the question of what needs to change in order for me to accomplish or to do what I need to do. And just throwing some suggestions out there. If you need to listen to like a self-motivational speech, motivational song, watching someone else doing something that you have to do or need to do can give you that motivation. There are so many different things out there that you can use for motivation, and what you need. If you need to go read a book, if you need to go for a walk, if you need to get some fresh air to clear your mind and refresh, in turn that's also feeding into your self-care, because you're taking care of yourself, knowing that you're not the only one that has to accomplish these tasks, knowing that you're not the only one who feels like they just don't want to do it or be bothered, and staying on that track of, I'm going to pour into myself so that I can pour into whatever it is that I'm doing, whether it's you're doing something with someone, for someone, doing things that are expected of you, that can help to enrich or boost the self-motivation that needs to happen. So always remember, guys, self-care is so important. You cannot give from an empty cup, so you have to be able to pour into yourself, also have people pour into you, but pour into yourself so that you can then pour into others or whatever it is that you're doing. The final tip that I did want to mention is changing the language, right? Especially when we're not feeling it, when we're in the slump, when we're super pessimistic about everything. It's because we have that I can't, or this will never work, or this is not going to happen attitude. And it's about changing that language. all that energy you give into telling yourself that you can't, all that energy that you give to saying that this won't work, this is never going to happen, this is so hard, keep that same energy, right? And keep that same energy in changing the language to I can do this. This will work out for me. Nothing is impossible, right? And by no means am I saying ignore the fact that things are hard or things are challenging. In your change in the language, you can acknowledge that this is a hard task, but I can do it. This is a hard task, but I can overcome it. This may feel impossible, but I can do anything, right? All about changing that language. Once you change that language and the more energy you put into speaking positivity, then that's what you're going to get. If you put a lot of energy into speaking negatively or doubting or putting down yourself, then that's what you're going to get, right? I'm here to remind you that you can do it. You got this. You matter. You can do anything that you put your mind to, and no task is too big for you to overcome. So now that you've heard all these different tips and tricks, and we've normalized not feeling motivated all the time, I do think that we all need a reminder. We all need a little pick me up every once in a while, and I hope that my message can help motivate you and keep you going in those times where you don't feel motivated, and using some of those tips and tricks in which I've mentioned to help you to keep going, because you know what, you got this and you deserve it. I wanted to leave you guys with this food for thought. If you want to fly, let go of everything that weighs you down. Think about it. I want to hear from you guys. What do you do to keep yourself motivated? And what do you implement for self-care to keep yourself motivated? I'd love to hear about it in the comment section down below. I hope that you learn, can apply, and share the knowledge that you've gotten from this video. And do be sure to turn on your post notifications so that you are aware of every time that I post. And be sure to stay tuned for a future Wellness Wednesdays that will be focusing on that idea of self-care. And look in the description box below for a playlist of my different Wellness Wednesdays videos. I thank you all for watching, and do know that I'm always wishing you peace, love, and light.